Good day everyone, and welcome to this episode number 4, Season 1 in our series of Hearts of Iron 4, the Great Soviet Experiment. And we are starting this episode where we left off down in the Iberian Peninsula in the south, with the opening thrust being our encirclement through Sevilla through to Cadiz to block off these two divisions here and hopefully wipe them out. As I said in the last episode, pushing them back, yes, that's fine, but you don't get ahead until you start wiping them out and stopping the enemy or reducing the enemy's ability to fight. So we are going for our second encirclement down in the south of the country. And that's where we're at. I should also just quickly have a look at construction to make sure everything is going along and we're not wasting time. R&D is all going ahead. The shortest one there is 2 months away, so that's good. Production, yes, it's going fine. We need 5 more for support equipment, light tanks and motorized, but that's all going pretty well. And in terms of where we're up to, yep, that's all pretty good. No planes, and the only thing being built are convoys, so that's fine. We're okay with that. Oh, I didn't see the 2 there. Interesting. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave you behind here and just get you to support that, so that we should have left someone in there. Hopefully this guy's going to get there before the nationalists decide to move in there. And there, wow, that's a bit of a gap. But we should win this as long as we hold this open. One of the problems of fighting is that the AI is not, well, of course, how are they going to know what your plans are? It's not an integrated command structure, is it? No. So, yeah. Be interesting. You could work on the AI for that sort of thing. It would be a fascinating job to have, wouldn't it? Very challenging, I would think. Okay, so now we're doing that. Everything's going well. Let's go up to maybe 3 speed. Let's do 4. Just till this fighting's over. Just to make sure we're on it. There we go. Oh, look at that. Cool. Back to 3, because quite frankly 4 is too fast for me. And possibly you could attack there. Oh, look at that. The encirclement's already begun without my intervention. We'll get some there, and oh, we're defending. I don't think this is going to take very long at all. No. And you would have to say a successful encirclement. But now we need to keep this up by doing this. 1, and then up. No. Stop it. Okay, hold on. Stop. Just stop. Just go to where you're supposed to go. I sometimes forget to reset the commands. So we'll do that. When everyone's in line, we'll start. I don't want you attacking there. Stop that. Because that... Okay, hang on. Hold your horses. No, you will not. Did I not pause you? No, I reduced the speed. I didn't pause it. Actually, no, just there's fine. You get spearhead in Man the Guns, which I actually have bought, but bought it after I started this series. So I'm not running the man, the guns, and together we stand, or whatever it was. This is just the ones that I spoke about with the DLCs I had from 2016. So I'm not going to add that into this at this point because it changes too many things. So I'm still going to play the vanilla on this, so you don't have Spearhead. Actually, you know what? This is not working particularly well. We don't have Spearhead on this, so it is a little bit more difficult to manage. There you go. Now stop attacking where you are not wanted to attack. Stop it. Now how do I know that's you? I don't really, do I? Okay, where are the rest of you? Are you all attacking in there? Okay, well, how about... Hang on. What are you doing over there? Alright, I'll do it manually. Just go there. And we'll worry about the fine points later. Although it doesn't look like there's anything down there to encircle, frankly. But that's okay. You just do it, just in case the... Ah, yes. No, there's 3. Cool. You stay there. You stay there. You two come down here. And you know what? Let's just get rid of all your orders because it's just, frankly, it's not working. Okay, back to Mr. Golikoff. Okay, now this is an encirclement. We're going to get 4 enemy divisions out of this, which is good. It's good, and I think, yeah. See, we are losing in the north. Actually, we're not doing too flash hot around here either, but we can turn the tide of battle down here, provided we push and push hard. Well, push and push hard, sure. I'm going to leave you there, and I'm going to leave you there. Oh, actually, also, oh, look, we've let the year go by, and what we were going to do was start creating our garrison units, which are going to be our basic defensive unit to hold, at least initially, our front lines. So first of all, we need to design the garrison unit. So possibly, let's go back a step. There are 2 types of garrison units. One type of garrison unit literally is, if you will, holding an area against a possible enemy. So for example, we could call these units that we're going to create garrison units, and we can garrison the border around where we think the enemy is going to come from. We need lots of them. They don't need any suppression capability, but they do need some defensive capability. Now, how much the Japanese are going to throw at us, I'm unsure, but we need to hold them until such time as we can get, quote, proper troops in there, unquote. The other type of garrison we need is when we're in the full war and we are attacking people who don't surrender to us until the end. And then we're going to need units with suppression capabilities. But in the short term, we don't need that. So our garrison units will not need any suppression. So we could take, for example, the NKVD units and duplicate them to create the garrison division, which they're still divisions. Now the question is, what width are we going to use? But whatever it is, it's 1. So we know for a start off, we don't need military police. But I got to tell you, I am still a huge fan of the engineering company. So I am going to include engineers in these. Just because, I mean, they're just a go-to. Now these guys, the original garrisons, have a combat width of 12. And a defence of 162. What if we use straight manpower and we go up to a combat width of 16? What do we get if we do that? We get a combat width of 18. No. Combat width of 16. So that gives us a defensive capability of just over 200. A supply use of 58. And no artillery. So what happens if we were to add? Now supply use of 58. Defense of 6. So it would go to 215. Holy dooly. The MPs give us a defence of 22. I did not know that. Well, well, well. Let's do that again, shall we? Defense of 160. What? Okay, let's duplicate that. We need to just play with this for a minute. Garrison div. Okay, we don't know what you're going to be yet. But you're an MP and you've got 160. So you give 22. You give 23. Plus 1.4. Oh, you take from organisation. Okay. What if I keep the MP there and I go up to a 16 width? I've got 206 and I've added 46. And what if I add the engineering company now? 231. Supply use of 0.6. So that added 0.02. That's 0.02. 0.07. It's not much, is it? So that's a 16 width. And 16 over 80 is 8 over 40 is 4 over 20 is 5. I can get a stack of 5 of these will give me the equivalent of 80. Pretty good defensive units. Pretty good defensive units. But for an area where the enemy doesn't have air superiority. So if we get into a situation where we have air superiority, we would think about adding anti-air. Anti-air would also work in the situation where the enemy had light tanks and possibly even medium tanks. But at least initially, and especially on the Eastern Front, that's definitely going to be light. So if we add an anti-air there, now this, I'm not going to add this at the moment, but this is just for later thinking. Defense goes up, soft attack goes up, but defense goes up by, defense goes up by 2.4. Air attack goes up by 15. But, piercing also goes up. Yeah, piercing also goes up. So, what does that mean? That means that later on we will add air support. It goes up there, but what if we add it here? What if we add anti-air there? Defense goes up by 4, breakthrough goes up, soft attack goes up, hard attack goes up, air attack goes up, 19. Supply usage goes up. So we would need to be careful about how we use that, but that's a doable. That is definitely a doable. Okay, we're going to go for the 16 with MPs, because we get almost the same defence by adding the MPs as we do by adding a whole division. Brigade, battalion, whatever. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our garrison division, 16 width, one infantry, we'll call that, 1 eye. Because, actually, 1 eye. Actually, we don't even worry about that. We'll worry about it later. So if it's not designated as AA or AT, then it's infantry. And that's, we're going to give it a new symbol. Now the symbol, we do need to differentiate them, I suspect. So we've got 3 that would fall into a grouping, because we're probably going to end up with 3 different groups. There'll be a straight infantry one, there'll be an anti-air one, and possibly an anti-tank one. So what about these 3 here? Oh, these 3 here. There you go. There's 3 there. They look like they could do it. Cool. I don't like that. I'm going to use this one. Makes more sense. Okay, so that's our division and the garrison, so they get low priority on equipment. And then we're going to go ahead and train some. And we're going to build things at a position where they can go either way. So that possibly means the Urals. So in the Urals we have Sverdlovsk. Who doesn't like Sverdlovsk? And we are going to build 3 of them, and we are going to produce them at this stage until the cows come home. Pretty much. Okay, good, excellent, everyone. Back on with it. And back to the Iberian Peninsula, where it appears it's all happening. Even the AI has started to do an encirclement. Ah, my Republican friends. Ooh, I'll miss you, Amelia. Yeah, we didn't get there in time, did we? Oh, but we're going to... Who's that? It's Italian. We're going to get an Italian volunteer unit. Well, there you go. Now we just checked down here. There's 216 days left Can we get this up to 100 experience by 215 days? I would think so. 9 days we get radio, so we'll worry about that when we get there. And there you are, another encirclement. Well done us. So what I want to do here is this. We'll just drop that down. 1. Japan declared war on China. Oh, and the other thing we have to do, speaking of declaring war on things, we got socialist realism too. Hang on, I think we need to pause it. We're definitely getting too much at the moment. So first of all, this is the German-Soviet treaty. Despite harsh previous rhetoric against both the people and the ideological leadership of the Soviet Union, Adolf Hitler and Germany has now reached out to us, requesting a mutually beneficial research treaty. While exchanging knowledge would help our efforts to develop new tank designs, along with promises of other research benefits in the future, there is little doubt, considering previous statements, that the Germans are doing this for their own sake. Should we go forward with the agreement despite the risk of aiding Adolf Hitler's ambitions? And the answer is yes. The capitalists are worse threats to us both. Now, this is the interesting thing. We get a Soviet-Germany treaty, which means our opinions of each other change. Our trade changes. But the important thing is, 1, by 2 years ahead of time penalty reduction for medium tanks, and 100% research bonus for armour technology. That's got to be worth it for us. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to have a look at the nationalist focus, which was socialist realism, which meant that we got 120 political power. Now, we are not going to do the Great Purge because we're waiting for the revolution, the Civil War. So now we're going to work on these things up here. We could do this, but this is of no advantage to us until at least 1941, because we're not using or doing any air research for another 4 years. So no. So we'll start up there. And then we got the political power. So now the next thing we're going to get is the stability increase. Now, the current stability, you will notice, is -2, -6 and -6. So when we get the popular figurehead, which will put our stability over 50, we now get political power gain +1. Consumer good factories -0, factory output +3, dockyard output +3, and thank you very much. That's very nice for us to have that. So, onwards, I say, young fellow, and let's get this encirclement underway. Cool. That's going along, and I don't think we'll have any trouble getting that. I think when we've done that, we need to just swing around here and tidy this up. This looks like it could be a very good encirclement. In fact, we probably should have gone for that first. But we're here anyway, and quite frankly, they've left the division on its own out there. I don't see why we shouldn't knock it off. So we'll put the speed up to 3. Let's just see what... and that's something else we can do too, actually. We can get some more... I forgot one other thing as well. Let's go back down to 1... we've done radio now. And Shanxi has joined it. Whoa! The Marco Polo Bridge incident. Right, and let's drop you down to 1 for a minute. So radio's done. let's do radio detection, which is good. Okay, now, the other thing we can do, which will help us out, is we can send volunteers over here. And we can send 4 to China and Shanxi. I think we can send some to Shanxi as well. 2. Let's send 4 to China to start off with. We'll go up to, where are you? You're there. And I quite like Vasily Kuznetsov. So we're going to send Orbit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we're going to send those 4 over to you. Just keep them near Moscow for a minute. And then we're going to send Vasily Kuznetsov, once we turn him into our favourite red colour. Now, you are going to be like that. In actual fact, I'm going to change you to be like that as well. Army Kiev, yep. Now, you, my friend, are going to be Army. Anyone know a favourite army name that they would like to use? Short one, preferably. We've got Kiev. Minsk. Army Minsk. We are going to send you over to China, and we're going to keep harvesting experience points. Send volunteers. Kuznetsov, 4 divisions. Cool. And I think we'll hold it at that for the just minute. Now, the other thing I want to do is justify war on Iran, except I left it way too late. It's now going to go over into 38. But there you go. There is a theory that says that, or a proposition I should say, that says that the person that actually wins wars are the ones who make the least mistakes. Maybe. But that encirclement certainly didn't appear to be a mistake. And, we're going to get some experience out of that, and we're going to wipe out an enemy division. And we'll go back up to 3 now. We will check construction. Yeah, okay, we're definitely on the right road here. I am going to pause that for a second and do a bit more construction. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second. My timer for the episode managed to shut itself down. So we may or may not be on time, but I suspect we'll be a little bit over today. Well, we're going to go up here and we're going to do some more building of things. Building of things is what we want. So we're going to come down here and do that. Okay, more refineries, more storage facilities. Then we're going to continue on our builds. Right, and of course, we're going to put another 2 in of this. Now, I don't know that if I should be building more refineries than silos, because I've not played a game where I've finished with silos and seen what their actual effect is. So that's going to be interesting. And the other thing I want to do is keep an eye on this, so that as this gets to about a third, 33%, we add another 3 divisions to build, or maybe even half, something like that. Let's carry on. Complete this encirclement, and then I think we come down here, see if we can cut these guys off. By punching through here. The other thing I want to do too is when we get these 3 divisions, or those 4 divisions to China, we want to change their template. Okay, that is going well. How are we doing in here? We still need the additional equipment, but we are doing okay. And the more of these we build, the better off we are long term. Up, we've arrived. Now, I've just reduced this because I don't want to be in a situation where the speed has caused us to mismanage our troops so that we lose them, which is possible. You can lose them by not paying attention. So we need to be engaged. So let's move them up, first of all, to there. And while we're moving, we're going to change their division to the new 20 width. Yeah, we've got plenty of equipment left, although the support equipment's still lagging way behind. Yeah, we need to get that development up. I wonder if... Well, we've got 2 going in there. 1, 2... Yeah, I think we'd be all right, as long as we are continually building civilian factories and military factories. That's fine. The other thing I should talk about, or at least mention, is that you'll notice that you can convert, well, everyone knows you can convert the factories over. So you can turn civilian factories into military factories and vice versa. I basically try not to do that. I mean, quite frankly, you're spending, 10.8 thousand to build a civilian factory, and then you're going to spend another 9,000 to turn it into a factory that cost you 7.2 thousand to build. It's just a waste of building time. And if you're at the point where your factories are that decimated, then, well, maybe the war's over for you. And there you have it. Our encirclement is complete. And I think we need to start knocking these guys over. Or, sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. We need to bring in the encirclement and reduce the enemy forces. So we might as well start right here. And I think at this point we can go up to 2. I'm reluctant to go above 2 because, as I said, I really don't want to be in a situation where, through lack of attention or because of the speed, I lose sight of what I can possibly be doing. Are we doing R&D wise, by the way? Yeah, we got one coming up at 11 days, so that's fine. All right, back to the Iberian Peninsula. Yep, and so we'll move you into there as well. Okay. Got troops up to seasoned as opposed to regular, so that's good. And we'll just go back over here. Yep, okay. Are they defending or attacking? Hard to tell, actually. We could possibly go and help out. I think we could. Yes, we could. That's a more direct route. Yes, that's a more direct route. So let's see. How many have they got in there? Japanese. Can't tell us, but probably two, like Manchukuo and Manchukuo, probably. Okay, back to Iberian Peninsula. Yeah. Over there, and we'll use you to support. Cool. And we've got a 64 there, so, oh, look, got 8 divisions. Oh, and an armoured unit. Interesting. What's in the armoured unit? No supply. Well, low supply, not no supply, but low supply. Where's the armoured unit? There he is. Minus 7% on attack. None of my units can pierce him. Isn't that interesting? What's the supply level like in here? Five out of 10. That's pretty good infrastructure, actually. Okay, here we go. We've got machine tools. And this is very important at this stage to us. We need to keep this going along as much as we can. We're up to 87. I am reluctant to keep pushing this attack. Don't think we're doing overly well. So let's just withdraw you. And have a look and see where we might get some advantage. Attacking up there might be useful for us. This is where the infrastructure drops. Certainly that might be a more interesting assault path than the one we're on, or even there. Yeah. No, I think, well, it's very difficult to tell without yeah, how about that? No, that's not a good look at all. That might be a better look. All right. Yeah, we'll just come into there, shall we? And go into there. Oh no, that's interesting. Yep, okay. And then back over here. Okay. Now, I wonder if this is going to preserve Tukhachevsky when we get the Civil War. Interesting question, really. Decisions are available. War propaganda against Japan, don't care. Don't care. Do I care? Costs 150 for that. No, really I don't care. going well. 6 out of 10, so we've got an extra 1 so far. And now would be a good time to add 3 more units. Okay. Because what the Soviets really need is tons of stuff. Doing okay. I'd like to see more numbers in there. Artillery and, of course, what we are not doing, which we need to be looking at, is making anti-air. That's next off our list. I think we'll make U3 as well. Well, 5. That seems to be the number we're aiming at the minute. And we're getting enough experience now to be looking at getting to the 100 when we need it. And we could go up by 1 more and go back to the Iberian Peninsula, see what's going on, and we're winning both our fights. This is going to cause the Republicans, the Nationalists, a considerable problem. And that is pretty good. So, R&D, when's the next guy up? 29 days. So, let's see. We're in 37. There goes our justification. Now, we can get 2 years on the T-32, which is not bad, or we could get 100, and we can get 100% on either that or that. So what have we got? 77, 480. That's ahead of time. What's the it's a good bonus, 77. Yeah, that's a good bonus. Okay. Artillery, nothing much there. How long before you're done? 160 days. You got a while. Yep, that's researching and that's going on. Yep, so it's fine. Okay. Sorry, that one. And turn you around and bring you back down. This is going to hurt the Nationalists a lot. So from our point of view, that's very good for us. Chinese volunteers are currently engaged with the enemy and losing. Excellent. That probably wasn't what we wanted to hear, but it's where we're at. So General Kuznetsov, you're involved in that. It's very good. Now, can we send, well, where else can we send people? Can we send people to Communist China? Yeah, we can send 3. Okay. Well, a golden opportunity to fight with Chairman Mao. Yeah, who didn't want that opportunity? So we can send 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to assign you to one of our favourite guys. Now, this is a personal thing, but I've not been a big fan of Georgy Zhukov. A great attack skill, planning and supply consumption, but not a particularly nice man, if I could say that. So I'm going to look towards Rokossovsky to do this, and I'm going to send Rokossovsky to Communist China. Three divisions. And that will give us 8, 9, 10, 11 divisions fighting overseas as volunteers, quote unquote. So now you could certainly go into there and then there. Now, of course, the other thing is that as soon as we declare war on our friends in, sorry, I've lost my space, Iran, everybody we have overseas is going to come home. So we may want to begin preparations for this. Now, I don't think I want you as the commander of this particular unit. I am going to look at General Meretkov for a start. Now the other thing is we need to get troops over on this side, the north east border, so that, now where are you? You're down there and you are fully entrenched, right? So we're not going to move you. But I don't want all 20 of you stuck on that particular border. So I'm going to take just leave you for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 18. Do I want 18? 18 sounds like 6, 18. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 12. So that leaves 8. Put you in there, and you I'm going to assign to go away for a minute, to Boris Shapos, no. Alright, hold on. I don't want anything to happen to those units before I get there, so let's just take that back a second. Andrei Vlasov, 3-3. That's reasonable. Now, Andrei, I need you to take your troops and prepare to... Really? No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to take your troops and do that. And then I want to take Georgy Zakharov and take your troops and we're going to give you a specific instruction. So I want your troops down here. And I want Kirill to have a Feldmarschall And I want you to have a Field Marshal. And I want your Field Marshal to be nobody at the moment. Okay, it's all going according to somebody's plan. Transpolar flights, yes. I mean, we get the air bonus. Okay, we do get a bonus here, and we do get a bonus there. Frankly, we're not going to use it, but we need it to start coming down this path here and being able to make these decisions. So we have to do it anyway. So that's what we're about. Now, let's have a look here. Certainly, more industry is better, but let's just check that there's nothing we need immediately. Well, as it turns out, there is. Immediately. Well, no, not immediately. But we are going to need field. My favourites are the field hospital, because even though Russia can get insane amounts of manpower, it chews through them at an insane rate. Logistics, which is also important for us. Not so much signal company, but these two for sure. So let's start on the field hospital and get that going on straight away. And there you are. I think that's our episode. Oh, no, we need to have a look at our troops as they have arrived in Communist China. And General Rokossovsky is there with them. So obviously what we possibly should do is join them up, because that way we get joint operations. So let's maneuver around to come back in down here. Where are you? You're there. And I'm going to make you an elite unit, but this time make you a slightly different colour. So not that colour red, but that colour red, and elite. And not Army Kiev, Army Minsk, but Army Odessa. Thank you very much. Actually, you know what? No, let's leave you there, but make you not such a good colour. Don't like yellow. Green. Green is good. Blue is okay. But blue. I might reserve blue for armoured. So let's go pink. Sure. So what we've done is we've got volunteer units set up in the Far East, which are doing okay. We have started setting up our troops on the border here. Actually, let's just check that. 15, no. Oh, sorry, 13 over there, so you're coming. And 12, you're coming. And then, I think it's 12. And you're over there. 8, was it 8? Oh, yes. And we've got 8 units under Andrei Vlasov coming down to Iran. So it's looking pretty promising for the future. So thank you all very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And of course, I will look forward to seeing you again in the Gig channel for more fun and adventures. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.